This is the Couples Corner. The Couples Corner. This is the Couples Corner. With Team Evans. This is the Couples Corner. The Couples Corner.
The Couples Corner with Team Bevins of I Still Do Ministries every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is another episode, and today you will get some good information, some great nuggets, and some tools to strengthen your relationship. The Couples Corner with Team Bevins.
Howdy people, how y'all feeling tonight, man? Happy that you all could come into the Couples Corner and share with us tonight. We got a exciting topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. I think we're going to have a wonderful time. Of course, this is a dialogue, and we're going to be looking for your comments and your questions so that we can get this party started. We're going to open up with prayer, and then we will get everything rolling. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to gather together in the Couples Corner. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for what you're going to do, how you're going to allow us to grow, how our relationships will be better, be stronger, that we'll be wiser, we'll be able to do more because of the understanding that we'll gain tonight from this dialogue, from this conversation. We pray, oh God, that everything will be done decently and in order, that you would get the glory, the honor, and the praise. We look forward to what you're going to do tonight in the Couples Corner. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So for those of you who may not know, we are Team Bevins. I am Marcus, and this is my wonderful wife.
Hooray.
And we are here in the Couples Corner tonight. And tonight we are talking about double standards. This is something that we, see that we deal with on a regular basis. And the reality is, a lot of times people don't really know how to deal with double standards. And in some instances, we don't even know what double standards are, or we don't see that we utilize them or that we do them. So we're going to open that up tonight so that we can really dig into the double standards piece and find out what it is that we can do and how we can make things better, how we can make our relationships stronger, the things that we can do to cause things to be well. And ultimately, that's what we're striving for. So let's look at what double standards actually is. So double standards, right? It's a double standard is the application of different sets of principles for situations that are, in principle, the same, and is often used to describe freedom that is given to one party over another. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that makes double standards, a little difficult, because the person that you see that may be dealing with the double standard, they don't understand how there's a double standard where it's okay for you to do it, but it's not okay for me to do it. It's okay for you to say it, but it's not okay for me to say it. It's okay for you to go there, but it's not okay for me to go there. So we have to deal with the double standard, and we have to be honest with ourselves. That's where it really has to start. It has to start with us being honest with ourselves. And as soon as we're honest with ourselves, we put ourselves in a better position to really be able to accept what we have in our midst, in our relationships, because truthfully, we probably have never really taken the time to think, do we facilitate double standards? Are we the one who initiate them? Are we the one who allows them to happen because of the way that we look at things, mm-hmm. our approach to, scenarios and how we're able to, deal with them. So those things are important. They really are. So for those of you who are listening to us live on Mix Station, of course, you are welcome to call in as well. The number is 1-855-493-6499. And for those of you who are with us via Facebook Live, the same, of course, applies, that we all can, share in this dialogue so that we can be in a better position. So let me ask you guys this: what is double standard to you? What does that look like? What does that look like to you? Double standard. Do you see it? How do you deal with it when you're faced with it? Because many of us are faced with double standards, and how do we handle those things? How can we connect with our spouse to ensure that the double standards that we see or that we may feel or experience, that they are not overtaking us to the point where we are not attentive in the relationship properly, I would say. So dealing with the double standard, what would that be, or what would that look like, to you in your relationship? That double standard. What would be an example? And I have a few that we would
like to hear them.
I have a few that we would write down to talk about these double standards. One thing that is a area that double standards happens often is household care. In household care, there are a lot of people who don't see the full picture within that scope. So, of course, there's some double standards in cleaning and cooking and all of those kinds of things, as far as who people may say should be responsible or all of that kind of stuff. But the reality is, is that something that is a double standard? Is that a double standard in your household? That there's a man's job, there's a woman's job. That's the job of the husband, that's the job of the wife. So how do we make sure that is not something that is happening in our relationships and can cause division? So what does that look like?
Are there any men out there who do all the household chores? Please call in. Please, 1-855-493-6499, because I don't believe that it's a man or woman's job, but we tend to lean more to the women doing certain things. So please, if you're the man that cleans the whole house, call and let us know. And does your wife help, or is it like, no, you just do it and she doesn't do anything?
Right. So I think that it should be I think it should be a skill thing first, and then if the people are willing to work together, then work together and be taught on what you don't know. But you don't have to make your life difficult by not doing what you can do. You see what I'm saying? I think if you can do it, then you can do it, and you do it, and you make sure that things are right, or that they are as right as they can be based on what you have to offer. If it's a skill that you have, don't just sit around and let things go bad because you don't want to do it when you have the ability to do it. So, don't be that person where you just sitting there sabotaging your household basically because you're not doing things that you have the ability to do, just because you feel like, oh, I don't have to do that, or I shouldn't have to do that, or that doesn't have to be my case or whatever. So it is something that we can that we should be able to do. So we hear all of the time things like, oh, that's a man's job, or oh, that's a woman's job, or that kind of thing. But theoretically, if it has to be what works for your house. You see what I'm saying? It can't be, oh, this is a woman's job and she's terrible at it and you're great at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this can't be this is a man's job and she's good at it and you're not. You know what I mean? Like, we can easily get to a place or point where we try to make things about gender when it's really not about gender. But in most cases, it's really about, what the need is, and is the need being met? That's the question, because if the need is not being met, then we got to do something different, because ultimately that's what it's about. It's about that need being fulfilled and what the person that has the ability to do is doing about it, so that there's not a double standard. You know, we talk about the double standard aspect of things, but that double standard could be, you know, something as simple as lack of consideration for the thing that the person is doing, but you wouldn't do it. So, you know, you want your wife to cook every day, and you want to have a hot meal, and you want to have all of that, but then when she wants you to do the dishes, you're like, oh, I don't do no dishes, or I don't, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, or can you take the trash out, or can you put some gas in the car, can you whatever, and you're just like, oh no, I don't do that, you know, or I ain't gonna be able to do it, I'm tired. But if she said she was tired, and you know, you're gonna have to make yourself something to eat, you know, how would that work out? What would that turn out to look like? What would that look like? Right. what would that look like? And I think that sometimes we don't allow people the opportunity to grow. You know, we don't allow them the opportunity to mature and get to a place or point that they can do the things that are necessary for their relationship to grow. So now within those household chores, you know, we have that. We have a caller on the line. Let's take the caller. Caller, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm good, thank you.
How can we help you tonight?
Well, how can you help us?
Right.
I was calling to respond to, I believe the question was put out there about whether or not should it be gender-specific duties in the household, or should it be something shared? Was that the question?
Yes.
So my comment on that is, I believe that based upon communication and agreement, that both parties should operate out of their strengths. And then I believe as well that we should help each other to reach a place of building where we may have developmental areas in doing certain things around the house. Because at the end of the day, it's our home together, and we should try to help each other out to maintain what it is that we have together. And I think that many times we'll keep down confusion, but at the same time, I think both parties just have to be willing to always develop, you know, where it's a weakness, but still operate out of strengths.
That's good. So let me ask you this: do you think that there are woman or wife roles or duties, and husband or man roles and duties that only that man should do or only that woman should do?
Like taking out the trash.
I mean, I think, and that was the perfect example with like taking out the trash. I think for me and my household, I kind of frown upon, if you will, a woman doing more of a manual labor type of job in regards to lifting and moving and things of that nature. I kind of have a problem with seeing a man not taking upon that duty, especially if he's, you know, in a healthy state where he's able to do those type of things.
Right. Okay. I like it. Appreciate your call, brother. Feel free to call back.
Thank you.
All right.
So there we have it. Men.
That's what you got out of that?
Men. This is my interpretation.
All right. Let's hear it.
Men, you have got to take out the trash, and you have got to cut that grass. Okay? No woman should be out there pushing that lawnmower. Shouldn't.
I could agree with you on that. The trash, I think, is a stretch, but the grass, I'm with you on that.
Trash is heavy.
Is it?
He said any labor, manual labor.
Right. You know, it's funny you say that, because there are a lot of pocketbooks that are a lot heavier than the trash bag that's going out.
That's up to that woman that carries it. Shoot. I don't even carry a pocketbook. Let's get to my favorite that I want to talk about, spending habits. I think that there is a double standard. Let me just be transparent.
Okay.
Because I think that, you know, when I want to spend money, Marcus is like, wants a whole rundown of why, how, why is it not this? Can you get it here? Why don't you do this? You should do that. You know, want to go all the way around. But if he wants to, it's not like that. Is anybody else out there like me? Because I think that if he knows that I know that I'm not going to, you know, spend everything. You know, now back when we first started this thing, because I might just be out doing whatever. But now that he knows that I'm not going to spend the bill money, he should be a little more lenient on what's going out. That's just what I think. That's just how I feel. If y'all can help me, help me. Call 1-855-493-6499. I told y'all, this is, y'all help us just like we help y'all. This is real life stuff that everybody goes through. And a lot of times, you know, I know somebody who used to hide their shoes in the trunk. They would buy them and they would take them in little by little because of their husband. Like, I don't want to have to do those things. I just want to be able to spend the money. This is where it's going. I need to buy a shirt. Then I don't want to have to run down why I need to buy the shirt. Why can't I wear the shirt that I already have? Because I feel like if obviously I said I need to buy it, then it's a reason. You know, I might have gained weight, or my other shirt might have some issues going on with it or something, you know. And I don't think that I need to answer 25 questions to get $25. you know, so I don't know if anybody else is having that issue out there, but please comment on Facebook or call 1-855-493-6499, because sometimes when it comes to spending habits, there is a lot of double standards in relationships, because one spends, or one may control the money, and you know, so they just feel like they can do whatever and not consult the other, or somebody might be bad, you know, with money, really, and they are not really. That's why they don't want you to spend it. So that's good. That's okay. That's a good reason. But if both of you are very are mature and able to control your spending, and you just want to get certain things, and you get 50 questions, or you get, why do you have to get that? And then when it's the other person's time, you just say, go ahead. It doesn't have to be, you know, how my situation is. It can be vice versa. Just, you know, tell me how you deal with that, or tell us how we can change and get better. Now, Marcus is going to talk, and he may have a different outlook on this, but my outlook is that I have to answer a lot of questions, okay, to buy something.
All right. So I would agree with what she's saying, and you know, in part with that question, it would be because to me, I think that it's about stewardship, and then about the communication, and you know, everybody being on the same page, and so for me, that's what it is. You know, on my side of the aisle. That's what it is on my side of the aisle. But the reality of it is at the end of the day, you know, if we are in this thing for agreement's sake, and you know, we're gonna say that this is what we're gonna do, or this is how we're gonna do, or what have you, then that has to happen. The other side of that, though, is as a covering, you know, you're trying to make sure that you're protecting and that you are doing things. Now, of course, this is not like a danger type of situation, but just making sure from the stewardship side of things that we are, you know, not buying the same thing that we got. You know, like, okay, I got 6 pair of black shoes and I just want to get a pair of black shoes. Like, you know, like in addition to the 5 other pairs that you already have of black shoes, you know what I mean? So yes. I get it that, you know, in some instances you may need to have more than one of something, and that's cool, that happens or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just want to for me, I want to understand. So I ask questions for clarity. I want to understand so that I don't have to ask you a question again later because I didn't understand, you know. And that's what it is on this side of the aisle. But I just think it's good stewardship.
Or, you know, yeah. Oh, that sounds good. You know, is there anyone out there, you know, packages just show up at your house and you have no clue, like, and your spouse just buying stuff, but if you want to get a package to show up at your house, it's the whole, well, how much was that, or why did you need to get that, or you could have just, but they have packages showing up like monthly. Packages show up, you know, or they can just go on Amazon, you know, sitting right here, can go on Amazon, just order something, and then tomorrow you're like, how did this get here? What do we need it for? Why did you order it? But you can't really ask all those questions. So I know there's somebody out there that can help me, because this financial piece is something special. And yes, I know they are spouses that we do not spend money correctly. You know, I used to be one of them. Like, we'll do something else before I pay a bill. You know, I'm not that way anymore. So I think I should have a little bit more leniency about buying something. And I don't really buy expensive stuff. So just to plead my case. So, and yes, we talk about shoes, but that is him. He probably has 6 pair of black shoes and want to get another pair. So this is not, see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying, y'all. It's a double standard. And double standards, we can kind of curve it. It's kind of like curving scriptures to fit your situation. That's how you do with that finances. We're going to curve this so I can fit my situation and say, oh, well, I bought them, but all of them only cost, I'm a bargain shopper. Or, you know, but it really doesn't matter. You still spend money. That's the bottom line. If you spend any household money, you spent it. Whether you a bargain shopper or whether you buy straight for the straight retail price. So, you know, that's my issue tonight. And that's what I'm going to need help with. Because, you know, and it's bad because it goes down to the kids too. Like, they got to give a whole accounting spreadsheet on why they need something and how much each piece costs. And I'm sure it'll help them later in life. But right now, it's just hard for us Bevins.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And, you know, I think that, you know, teachable moments are valuable. So, you know, I think that when you have understanding, you know, then it makes things a lot easier. It makes things a lot better for the future, and it helps with decision making. And so, especially like with the kids, it's you know, I'm definitely trying to make sure that they understand what they need to do or how they need to do, because you know, with the double standard piece of this, dealing with the spending habits, you know, it's kind of like it's okay for one person to do it based off of what's important to them, while what's important to the other person might not be the same thing that's important to, you know what I mean, to the other. And that's where I believe the double standard kind of comes in, and it makes a person feel some kind of way, because, you know, so like take example, you know, you mentioned like a box will show up or something like that, or what have you, you know, or 2, yeah, even 3, you know what I mean?
Yes, and if it's a studio piece, you better not ask no questions about it. It goes in the studio.
And so, you know, that could happen, right? But I think what happens is when we look at it from the aspect of, you know, there's already something that may be consistent that's already happening, you know, and so the allotment, in a sense, almost like the allotment to do something, or, you know, to make something happen. Because I know for me, 9 times out of 10, if I buy something or I order something, I don't take it out of the quote unquote house funds. I do it off of side money that I made. So therefore, I'm not necessarily taking away from our established budget of what we do and how
there
we do.
There is no side money. There is our money, and my money is no side money. So I don't even know what you're talking about, but that's the stuff you hiding. See, I'm about to start looking under mattresses and all that. Ladies, check that left pocket twice. Look under the mattresses. I'm telling you. Shoe boxes ain't full of shoes. Look, it's still old school stuff going on around here. Check them closets. You will find the gold. So this is my question. Is there a double standard when you if you want to purchase something, and I'm just going to take it low. Let's say if you want to purchase something for $50 and your spouse, be it the wife or the husband, is asking you a lot of questions to purchase that $50 thing. However, if it is a $50 gift that you buy for them and they accept the gift without anything, and they know probably how much it costs, because you can Google anything and see pretty much, or go to store websites and see. So they probably know that it was $50 or maybe more. Is this a double standard that they received the gift and just know like, oh no, we really need to pay this? Or is it okay to receive the gift that you would have had a lot of questions about if it was for the person who gave the gift? If y'all can understand me, please feel free to call 1-855-493-6499, or you can comment on Facebook because we need to know, is it okay to receive expensive gifts when you have a double standard with the finances where you can spend or the other person can't? But if you get that gift, that one special gift, I'm looking for a special gift, y'all, this year. I'm not even lying. I saw it this weekend. If I get that, y'all, I'm not going to talk about no more double standards. That's just a little plug. I'm looking for that gift come Mother's Day, and I'm not even joking. I'm not waiting until my birthday. So if you get that gift, you just receive it, and you're like, oh, thank you. If it's a pair of Jordans, you know Jordans cost money. So if it's a pair of Jordans, unless your friend stole them and you bought them from them, or you drove them there and get whatever, you know. But if it comes straight out the store, you know they over $100, $200. So would you receive that gift the same way that you would allow that person to buy something? Yes, I do need an answer.
All right. So I'll give you.
Caller, how are you? Caller? Are you with us?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Because we can hear you breathing. All right, call us back, caller, when you get your
call us back.
When you get your
we
phone
can't
together.
hear you, but I need you because I feel like you're about to help me. So call back, please.
So here's my response to that. I think that in that type of scenario, well, my perspective period on it is, I think that you need to plan for things. If you don't plan for things, then you can do damage. But if you plan for it, then you can do almost anything because you plan for it. So if there's a gift that you want to get, or there's something that you want to get for yourself, you might see something that you like and you're like, okay, this is $300. If you plan for that and then you do what's necessary to get that, then I don't see any issues with it at all. But to just see it and be like, oh man, that's nice, I just want to get it, and then you're not considering, the other aspects of life that you have to maintain, or whatever your system is within your household or within your relationship, then I think that that's not wise. But if you plan for it, I don't see any issues with it, because then it's something that you already
So then how does one plan for it if they have to get a whole bunch of questions? Can I
it's
get
not
a question?
secret.
Question. Yes, a gift is a secret.
No,
it's a gift.
Right? Yeah, a gift is
a secret.
A gift is a secret.
So that's what. See, everyone listening. Do you understand that we just went over that, went all around that gift thing? Because everyone wants to receive a gift, no matter how much it costs.
But I'm saying it still needs to be. It still needs to be prepared. So let's say you run the finances, and your birthday is coming up, or Mother's Day is coming up, and I want to get
is June 26th,
and I want to get you a gift, right? Mm-hmm. But you run the finances. So then, what I need to do on my end, from my perspective, is I need to plan it out and say, okay, I want to use $400 for Mother's Day to get you stuff. Mm-hmm. So I need to plan for that, but I need to clear it because you run the finances and say, hey, I'm going to need $400 for Mother's Day gifts. Mm-hmm. But this is, how, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So then when you give that green light, then I'm good. But for me just to show up the day before Mother's Day, like, hey, I'm going to need $400 to get Mother's Day gifts. And then that can throw you off because of whatever plans or strategy that you have, that I'm just showing up with a right now situation that
Right.
we wouldn't necessarily call a need. We would call it poor stewardship, poor planning.
Point being that if you plan for it, you're gonna 9 times out of 10 get it because it's gonna be a gift for the other person. Because if you're saying I need a gift, if I'm saying I need $500 for Father's Day, 9 times out of 10, most of it I'm not gonna spend on my father. So, so you're not like saying, yeah, go ahead. I really love your dad. Go ahead, get that, you know, and spend that one because like my dad really doesn't need anything. He would take the whole $500. He would like that. But what like you're gonna say yes. So 9 times out of 10, we're gonna have a yes to this gift. Just say I'm right. We're gonna have a yes to the gift, to the money, because it's for that person. Now the person that has an issue with it is gonna say no. They're not gonna say no, is what I'm saying. They're gonna say, okay, oh, this gift, you bought this for me. You bought, somebody get an Apple Watch. They know that watch costs a few dollars. And you're not gonna say, oh, how did you need to take this back to the store right now. No one says no one ever, because you want that gift. Correct. Just say correct.
For the most part, yes.
All right. Y'all call, whoever just called, please call back in 1-855-493-6499. Need some more people on my side, okay?
It's not about size. But I get what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying as far as, the double standard in it. To eliminate the double standard, it's having the agreement and the communication beforehand, not, at the time of purchase when there's no preparation. You see what I'm saying? So, knowing, because like in this case, Mother's Day is the same time every year. So it's poor planning for me to not plan for that, knowing that Mother's Day is coming the same time every year. And then the day before or on the Friday before, I'm like, hey, I need $400 so I can get some Mother's Day gifts. First of all, that's going to look terrible because if you run the money and I got to come to you to get $400, you're like, you ain't think about this before now. And you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying with the planning aspect of it, because even if the way that you're running the way you're running finances, that $400 might not be what you're willing to give. We might have to negotiate, because you might say, I can give you $300, or you might say that's all you want is $4, because it's a lot of people that you need to take care of, so you can have $7. But regardless of what it is, the conversation, the conversation.
I'm gonna try this. I'm so gonna try this stuff.
The conversation, being had before time, I think eliminates a lot of that.
Okay, and for everyone listening, we have our bank accounts, all of them together. I mean, we have separate one, for little things like this, but sometimes you still got to get some money from somewhere else. At least I do. So some of you couples may be like, oh, it's easy for us because we have our bank accounts separate. He pays this bill, I pay that bill. But a lot of my married folks out there, y'all have bank accounts together, and this is a problem because you want to get things and you got to answer questions.
All right, we got a caller. Let's take the caller.
Caller, how are you?
How are you doing today?
All right. How can we help you tonight, or how can you help us tonight?
Please help.
Y'all need help. Y'all do need help.
Yes.
So true. Y'all do need help. I just want to say that, what is the subject tonight? I've been in rehearsal. What's the subject?
Double standard.
Double standards. And
And
currently,
we're talking about finances.
we're talking about finances right now. We're actually talking about gifts and how
Gifts.
to get money for gifts and it not be a double standard.
Like the spouse.
It's a double standard. It is a double standard between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mother's Day is coming up, right?
It is. You're on to something.
I know I'm on to something. I just like to thank God for the CEO for filling in for me tonight. I was in rehearsal. And, thank y'all for letting me come on the station tonight. Thank you for allowing me to talk tonight. Normally I don't talk on y'all's show. But I'm talking right now.
Yes.
We just
So
need you to
I
know
think
what the
there's a
show is
double-
about when you call, though, sir.
I should,
I-
but I was in rehearsal. Then I just say that I was in rehearsal. And so I'm getting on now, and I didn't know what the show was about. I just called in.
That's impressive.
So the show is about, so it's a different double standard with Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Well, that is true.
Well, no,
Why?
not for every house.
What
That's
you
not
mean,
true.
no? What you mean,
Not for
no?
every house. That's not true, because I celebrate the fathers in my life. Right?
Very true.
I celebrate the fathers in my life. I celebrate, and Marcus is not my father, so I don't have to celebrate him.
No, you do, because you
But-
celebrate daddy.
Hello now.
Right.
Hello now.
But I'm telling y'all,
Hello.
it may be around the world. I know y'all get upset because the malls is not swarming with people when it's Father's Day, but that's something, you got to
It should
train.
be.
It should be.
What about the single fathers?
What about them? Somebody got to celebrate y'all.
I need to be celebrated, so put me out there.
The single
I
father.
need to be celebrated on Father's Day. Some other mother out there need to celebrate me on
So
Father's Day.
this is what happens. The parent needs to teach the child how to celebrate, and some of these parents not doing that. But the parent needs to teach the child. I teach my children how to celebrate their father, because
Okay,
that's your father.
That's such a blessing.
Yes.
Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Thank God for a mother like you.
Oh, thank you.
I wish you get all of the wonderful gifts that you're going
Yes,
to
for Mother's Day. Yes. So this is the problem that we're having. The problem is the double standard with when you have to your spouse. You have to buy something, and your spouse wants to ask a lot of questions. But when it comes to them, they just spend the money. But they don't. They don't get. Yeah.
See, that's why I'm divorced now.
Oh,
Because
my
the
goodness.
finances
Please hang up.
was,
Okay.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
sounds like you need to listen.
Okay. So I guess maybe if you don't get this right, it will lead to the.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the real life example.
Yeah.
Compromise is important, because if not, it could lead to divorce.
Divorce. It could.
it could lead to divorce if you don't get them finances right.
That's true. That's
Especially
really
if
true.
the other person takes the money and do something with it instead of spending it the way it should be spent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I give my wife money and she takes it and spend on her hair and it's supposed to be spent on bills, then that's gonna be a real problem.
Right.
Right.
So now, but if the bills are paid and she want to get her hair done, and you don't understand why it is $100, you want it to be $45. So you got to go through this question and answer. But if it's time for you to get a haircut, and she's like, "Oh, it's $50," boom, there you go.
My haircut is not no $45 though.
But
I'm a bald head man, and it's not costing me $45 to get my little bit of stump off.
so, but whatever it costs, she's gonna give it to you. That's a double standard. If you have to ask her all these questions, and she just doesn't ask you questions to say, "This is what you need," boom, do it. But for her to get money to get her hair done, but then you want her to look nice. But that's another show for another day.
I'll be there for that show. Can I talk on that show?
No more shows ever. Can you talk
No
on-
more shows ever for you. You talk no more. Hang up on him. Hang up on the producer. Hang up on him.
See,
Hang
yeah.
up on the producer. That's all right. The CEO, he can hang up on me though. Y'all so much for letting me come on your show.
Thank
you
you.
so much, Marcus. Thank you so much, CEO. Thank you so much. Bless your hearts. I'm getting ready to go now. I'm sleepy. I'm
Okay.
tired.
Be safe out
So,
there.
Thank you for
God bless
calling
you.
in.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, you're wonderful. God bless you. Love you all.
All right.
So we have a comment that says, "True, that is a double standard." Exactly.
It is a double standard if you are willing to take, but you're not willing to give. I think that is a double standard wholeheartedly. I think that it should be, again, ultimately, especially dealing with finance, it's all going to go down to communication. If you're not communicating, because especially if you take hair can be something that some men struggle with, because they used to, now it ain't the same now, but they used to go to the barbershop and get shaped up, haircut, all that for $10. You know, not now, but you know, now you spending $20, $30, $40 depending on who you're going to and depending on what you need. So, you know, but at the same time, you know, they may not have been accustomed to someone going to a salon that is a suite, or them going to someone that is going to do real hair care and not just a stylist. So, you know, you might have Keisha that know how to braid, and she'll give you some cornrows for $15, you know, and that's what they used to, because their cousin Keisha, they've been doing all their family members' hair for $15 for so long.
And then they want their wife to go to Keisha.
Yeah.
Why you just can't
You know
go to
what I'm saying?
Keisha?
Right, yeah,
She
go
gonna
to
do
Keisha.
it
Keisha
for
do it for 15. If you want curls, she'll do it for 20. But you saying you want to go to the salon because you want hair care, you want to keep the hair you have, you don't want it falling out. Yeah. Then, you know what I mean, that has to be, some stuff has to be taught. And I think that sometimes we don't take the time to teach or explain because we have the understanding, but we don't always give that understanding to the person who doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
We have another comment that says, I agree with Cherie, double standard. Thank you, because, you know, people don't agree with me on here, but I appreciate you because they agree with, you know, if this was Marcus doing right, he would have it would be all these thumbs up, all these hearts going, and all this stuff. But because they know he wrong, they not on here. See, they not on here. Well, they on here, but they not hitting them likes or them hearts and all of that. Y'all can go back some shows and see how when he talking and all of that, they hitting them hearts and them likes. They not doing it tonight. So
that is funny.
All right, moving on.
So yeah, so with the finance piece, y'all communicate so that you don't operate in that double standard. You know, you gotta have you know, that clarity, because if you don't have that clarity, then you're gonna have some trouble.
And please let me clarify, I'm not talking about taking bill money or paying or not paying your bills,
right? It's
because nobody else wants to take care of you. So please pay your bills first and then do whatever with the rest. No, pay your bills first. Do what you need to do for your family and for your savings and for your future, and then whatever you have left, see if they'll let you hold something, so you can go get a pair of shoes, get your hair done. You know, you don't have to go natural, but going natural, you still got to do stuff. Still costs money. So,
but
you
see,
know,
here's the thing that I've you know, I've heard this a million times talking to people. The challenge, especially because we're talking about like getting hair done, and you know, when all of those things kind of group together when you talk about your hair, your nails, your toes, and those likes, all that stuff, that kind of groups together. And I think the challenge comes in because if that is not a part of your budget, if that's not built into your bill, because that's a bill, you know what I mean, unless you planning to get your hair done once every 3 months, you know what I'm saying. But if you planning to get if you planning to get it done every 2 weeks, or you planning to get it done every week, or whatever your regimen is for what your hair quality is, because some hair is coarse and it needs a little more. So regardless of what your need is, but that has to be built into the equation of your budget. If it's built into the equation of your budget, it makes that conversation a lot easier. But if it's not, then it just seems like you keep showing up with random needs, and it's not a random need. You all just have not built it into the budget.
Okay, y'all heard that, ladies, right? Okay, put your hair in the budget, put your nails in the budget, put your shopping in the budget, put your pedicure in the budget, put your massages in the budget, Accurate Touch massage. Call me, I got you, but you're gonna pay me. So you put that stuff in the budget. If you need to do it, put it in the budget. And you need to get your hair done. You need to do that. But you need to pay your bills more. You need to do that. So I just wanted to be clear. I wasn't saying that a double standard is, he won't let me go, buy a new car and we didn't pay our mortgage yet. Because then you're gonna have to live in the car. So, and this is stuff people do. We laugh and joke about it, but this is stuff people do. They pay their cell phone bill, and then their lights go out, and then you can't charge your cell phone. So,
you can use the light from your cell phone till your battery run out.
Till it run out, but the battery's going to run out. So, we have to be wise, and so that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that if you're working on a budget and one person is taking care of it, and you're asking, I need to get a pair of shoes, and you have to go through a lot of questions, but they don't, and all the bills are paid, then we have a double standard there. And now that I know I'm right, we're going to move on.
Go ahead.
That is funny. Now that I know I'm right. That's beautiful. All right, so let's now we got a little touchy one that we got to deal with here, and that would be meeting each other's needs. That's something that is consistently going wrong in a lot of relationships. You know, meeting each other's needs, and so we're talking attention, affection, you know, respect, sex, whatever the need is of that spouse that you have, making sure those needs are met. And there's a double standard in there because most people want their needs met, but they are not as willing to do the work to meet the need of their spouse. They're just expecting to be the recipient of their needs being met, but they are really not all that game for meeting the needs, and that is a double standard. So, for example, you may have that one who requires, you know, a lot of attention or requires a lot of respect or what have you, and you know, that man could be like, I need respect, you gotta respect me, and blah blah blah, and you're looking for that respect and wanting to demand that respect, but she requires some things too, and if you're not giving those things, then that's a double standard, and it's unfair to consistently ask for or try to demand something from someone who has a need that you aren't meeting. That's a double standard. And so, you know, at the same token, you know, my motto is if you can provide it, then it helps you because they'll be willing to provide what you're looking for, what you need, because they're fulfilled. You know what I mean? So it's like, if we could not be selfish and put the needs of our mate before ourselves, I think a lot of these things we would be able to get past and not be stuck in those areas. But when we don't have that together, then we end up putting ourselves in a position where we're struggling because I'm still sitting here with my arms folded waiting for you to do something, and I'm not going to do nothing until you do what I need. Well, if they on the other end doing the exact same thing, y'all gonna be stuck in the same place, going nowhere fast, because both of you are waiting for someone else to do something instead of you taking the initiative, you being the person to initiate how this thing works. And if you do that, then you can start the ball rolling. But you sitting there waiting, you know, I ain't, you know what, I ain't getting her nothing else to drink until she learn how to bring me a napkin when she bring my plate. Like, I ain't gonna keep getting her something to drink. So now she's thirsty, you crummy, because you looking for a napkin that you don't have. And this is all because both of you are both of you are at a,
like crummy.
Right.
Crummy.
Both of you are at a standstill. Y'all having a standoff on something that doesn't require that. Like, be the person that initiates the change that you want to see. Be the change you want to see. You know that they have a need. You know that they have a desire. You know what they've been asking for, what they've been looking for, what they've expressed is important to them. What are you doing to work on that? What are you doing to fix that? What are you doing to change that? You know what I mean? Like, why are you still waiting, but you're expecting a return from them on what you asked for or what you're demanding? That's not fair. That's a double standard.
I just want to say, just go back a little second. Our super producer said, if it's over $50, put it in your budget.
That's
So
good.
that was just a comment. That's good. That's a good way to think about it. So, women, most of us, our stuff is over $50. Just put it in the budget and work it out.
Very good.
I don't really have anything to add to that. You kind of did that good. You did that good.
Thank you.
So I don't really have anything to add to that because you got to meet each other's needs, you know.
It's important.
Yeah.
Because, so here's another twist to it. You know, I was reading an article and they had mentioned about the double standard with men and women in meeting each other's needs, right? And so they were saying that if a man is not meeting his woman's needs, it's his fault that he's not meeting her needs. But then if she entertains someone else because she's looking to have her needs met, it's that man's fault because he should have been meeting her needs, you know, and he shouldn't have, you know, left her unattended. But then they were saying on the opposite side of that, that if that woman is not meeting that man's needs, he needs to be more considerate and be more patient and not be so demanding from her with the needs that he wants met. And if for some reason he entertains someone else, that's on him because he just chose that.
It's his fault.
Right.
Both times. See? It's your fault. It's just the man's
I
fault.
thought that was pretty interesting.
It's right.
I thought that was
Be
pretty
patient.
interesting. So,
All of this stuff comes through learning, being patient. That's why we're, giving you these scenarios and trying to, jug some conversation in your relationships, because if you really sit around and think about it, all of us have double standards.
definitely.
All of us do. And so, although it's the man's fault, most of this stuff, double standards, they fall short in. But, y'all, I'm joking.
She is
So,
something else.
as my pastor would say, don't write me no letters. Don't be sending it to the CEO of Mix Station talking about what's this lady talking about on here. But yeah, so it's all a learning process. We mature as we are together. We mature, and so we have to continue to communicate every year, every level. We have to continue to communicate, because something that was okay and seemed right, maybe your first or second year marriage, may not be right or may not feel okay your 6th year of marriage.
Right. It's very true. So, we got to keep those things. We got to keep those things in mind. We have to understand how valuable and important they are, so that we don't allow double standards to ruin our relationships.
Yeah.
We say it all the time. Nobody gets married to get divorced. Like, I don't think anybody's like, man, I need to find me a wife so I can be married for 2 years and divorce her. Like, I don't think that that's anybody's goal. I think that everybody is looking to spend the rest of their life with the person that they choose to love, that they choose to spend their life with. And so, we're trying to eliminate the things that would disrupt that. And double standards is one of the things that can. If we're not careful, we will have all of these expectations on, the other person. Like, there's one that we really didn't get into, but parents is another one that can happen. Why is it okay for your parents to have freedom to say and to do, but their parents need permission to say and to do? That's a double standard. What makes your parent any different, or to have, more access or whatever, than the other. So it's things like that. That's a double standard. And it's easy to miss double standards because most times it's not intentional, and the person that is creating it or causing it doesn't see it that way. Somebody has to introduce the double standard to them. And that's always a hard conversation, because most times you don't see it that way, and so you initially will be defensive. But it's not about you being defensive as much as it's about us learning so that we can grow. But that's another one of the areas that has double standards, that those parents, it's okay to go over your parents' house for holidays, but we ain't going out. we ain't going to our parents' house. That kind of stuff, like, that matters. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff that we got to be careful of, because if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves stuck in some double standards. And in this whole point of what we're doing this particular show on is so that, like she said, it can jog your memory for you to think, but also spark some conversation so that you and your mate can really figure out, do we have double standards? Do we have some things that are okay for you to do but not okay for me to do? Is it okay for you to hang with your friends but it ain't okay for me to hang with mine? It's okay for you to have girls' night out and y'all going to the movies or to eat crabs or doing whatever, but when it's time for me to hang with the fellas, it's like, well, why you gotta do all that? You married now, you need to, like, that's a double standard. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have to evaluate all of the areas in your relationship to find out where there's a double standard so that you can fix it, so that it doesn't become a cancer in your relationship.
Yes.
Because that stuff can do major damage if it's not, protected, and you really aren't watching over those things. So that's stuff that we gotta pay attention to, stuff that we have to make sure we keep our attention to, that we don't overlook it, that we don't ignore it, we don't neglect it. And we have to take some time to really listen to our spouses. We don't do that well either. We'll hear them, but we don't listen. We know they talking, but we ain't doing a good job listening. That's why some of the things that they've requested, you don't see. You don't see a change because we weren't listening. We were just hearing. So that's important. Any closing or final thoughts that you want to share?
As I always say, just communicate. Communicate about everything. Communication is the key, and how you communicate will be vital. Well, learning how to communicate with your spouse is vital to successful communication. So you can have communication, but you need to have successful communication, and you need to learn your spouse in order to do that.
Very good. Very true. And focus on yourself for a little while, and stop trying to focus on the flaws and faults of your mate. If you spend some time focusing on yourself and your flaws and the things that you can do better with, it would make your relationship a lot better, because it would remove the finger pointing, and you would just fix the things that you know are wrong. And when you're done fixing the things that you know are wrong, then ask about the other things that you don't know, so that you could work on them too. But that's ultimately what's going to help our relationships to grow, if we're willing to really learn and to really get into the things that we can do. I say it all the time. If we would spend more time taking ownership and stop passing blame, we would get a lot further. If I look at a situation and I can figure out what I did wrong or what I could have done better before I consider pointing a finger to say what you should have or could have done or all of this, it changes the narrative, because some of that blame that I would have given, I'm going to end up taking if I evaluate it with looking at me first. And if we learn to do that, it will make our relationships a lot better. They will be a lot healthier if we had that type of mentality, we had that type of approach to situations that we face in our relationship, because we are going to face them. It's no way that you're going to have two people with two minds that are trying to come together and become one and think that you're not going to have some disagreements. And your disagreements don't have to be fights and arguments. They can just be disagreements.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with disagreeing. It's a matter of you learning how to agree on something that you once disagreed on. That's the key, and that comes with what she said, that communication, learning how to talk with each other and talk to each other and not talk at each other.
Yeah.
So those things will help a great deal in our relationships. And so, let's remove the double standards and let's make sure that we're doing things the right way, so that we can have healthy relationships and we can have longevity in our relationships. We want to be able to look on our relationships and say, man, you remember the first 20 years of our relationship because you're celebrating your 40th or your 50th wedding anniversary. You don't want to be celebrating your 4th anniversary
for the 4th time.
Yeah, right. Definitely that. You don't want to be celebrating your 4th anniversary for the 4th time, because you keep getting new spouses. So let's learn how to work the marriage and work the relationship by starting off with learning how to handle yourself.
And so I haven't said this in a while, but if we do not, for those of you that's on Facebook, if we do not have your emails, please email us so we can keep in touch with you. We don't send a daily vitamin out, but we do keep in touch with you on certain things that we don't always put on here for the couples that would like us to. And if you have any topics, please send them, or for those of you listening on the radio, when we're on, you can call in if there's any topics that you would like us to discuss on our weekly show. 1-855-493-6499.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight to the Couples Corner, and we appreciate those of you who shared it and called a friend and let them know. And of course, for those who were a part of the conversation tonight, be it by social media or for those who called in, we thank you all for what you all were able to do and the parts that you played. And we will see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Couples Corner with Team Bevins. We're grateful that you stopped by and shared your time with us tonight. We look forward to seeing you again here next week at 9 p.m. And feel free to share this on your page with any of your people who would benefit from this conversation. We're grateful that you shared your time with us. And now we've got to go, but we look forward to connecting with you again here on the Couples Corner with Team Bevins.
MIXXstation.com